As I deepen my journey with God through my daily experiences of sharing and teaching here in this beautiful space, I'll be focusing on three key things. One is presence, second is silence, and the third one is connection. Presence, silence, and connection. For every experiences of our lives, for you to get to the point of doing the will of God, you have to be present. You have to give yourself to the present moment. And while it is easy for some people, it's also difficult for some people. And I have been in this space for a while, and I can tell you that the most beautiful place, the most beautiful space to be is in the presence of God. And what's the presence of God? Is making yourself available to the gift of every moment, being aware what God is saying, the journey is taking you through, what He says you should say at this moment, through our daily experiences that I call our daily duties, our daily tasks. It could be in your family, it could be in your workplaces, it could be in your relationship. What is God saying you should do right now? So being present this year is something that I'm very intentional about and would want to do for every day of 2023, deepening myself through my experiences. And then silence. Most of the time, we want to be the one talking, telling God our needs, our worries. This person has done this to me, that person has done that to me, and we want to pour all our hearts on Him. Most times, what God really needs us to do is just be silent, to be able to listen to Him, because He's speaking to us constantly. The past few months has been a very beautiful season for me, because God has spoken to me in different ways that helped me deepen my relationship with Him, my conversation with Him. And if you're very close to me, you might have heard me talk about having conversation with God on a daily basis. And it's not just sitting down quietly and talking with God, is that I have this constant conversation with Him where He's telling me what to do, and I'm asking Him when I'm not clear. And and I'd love being in that space. So this year 2023, I'll invite you to join me to be silent, to listen to God, what He is saying. When things go very rough and you are confused, you don't know what to do, just be silent, be still, and know that I'm God. That's what He says to us. Sometimes we want to be in charge, we want to control, but most of the time, when you are present, just letting go of everything around you that would distract you, that will want to make you be in charge. I must be in charge of this. Is to constantly be silent, to hear what God is saying in your life. It's not difficult, because the reason why we are here on earth is because God wants us to manifest His power and His glory here on earth. And the only way it is possible is that the same person, the same God that sent us here on earth, is able to have that access with us. Remember that for us human beings, He's giving us the will to be open, to derail, or probably to be lost in the wilderness and not listen. Imagine how many years the children of God was in exile, and that happens in our personal lives as well. So the third one being connection. There is nothing we would want to do in this life, no plan you have for 2023 would you be able to accomplish the way God, who sent you here, has destined it, if you are not connected to Him. And I'm talking about stripping yourself from every form of corniness and every form of hiding from the truth. You just have to be open. There is this sense of vulnerability that comes if you're walking with God. He strips you. He wants you to be able to flow with him, because that's what love is all about, vulnerability. You cannot be intimate with God if you're not ready to be vulnerable, if you're not ready to open your heart for God to gain access, to give you all the blessings you already have, even before the foundation of the world. As difficult as it is, every day of my life I'm committed when I can to be here and share with you my own daily journey and teach what God has sent me to teach this year about relationships, our relationships in the family, our relationships out in the world, related with people. People are hurting. So many people, so many things are happening. So it's a year for me to be present, to be silent, and to connect. Presence, silence, and connection. These three things that are my focus for 2023 as I bring up the topics that we're going to be sharing and talking about, the challenges and the problems, the issues people are facing every single day. Our focus is going to be on these three things so that we are able to hear what God is saying. Most often our sense of perception confuses us from what God is saying. God is saying something else and you are hearing another thing because of how you're raised, because of the language you've learned. I pray for you and I pray for me, and I ask that God opens our heart to walk away from the complaints and all the hurting and all that we are battling with. This person did this to me, the other person did that to me. So much lack, so much confusion in the families, in relationships. Let us open our hearts and walk away from all of that. There's something God wants to do in this space. If you have been in this space, in this channel, I would want you and your family, your friends, anyone that is open to receive what God is going to use all of us to do, because it's not just about me speaking, it's not about what I would teach, it's not about what I'm going to share. It's about what God wants you to know, what God wants to open my heart to see, what he wants you to see as well. And the more you seek him and the more you deepen yourself in him, he begins to connect you also. And this family of love, this space of love and unity and harmony, as simple as it is, would grow into a beautiful community of God, a beautiful community of love, a beautiful community. So I invite you to, always come back here to share, to learn, and to grow. Walk away from anything that will bring distraction from you living a life from God's own way rather than your own way. You've tried your own way and you've seen that it's not working. Let's all try God's way. And if you're still confused about, is there any God? Yes. There is someone who is a God, who is in charge of the rising and the setting of the sun, who is in charge of the day and the night. And if all of nature still obeys this mighty hand, how much more us that he made in his image and likeness. For every day of this year, I'm committed and open to share with you what I know and openings and the deepenings of my heart and my journey with God. And I love you to be here also to learn. As you learn, you begin to spread that also. Spread the joy of the Lord in your family, among your friends. But it's a time where God is saying you have to go solo. You have to go solo. Enough of the group thing. But you have to go solo. Just listen so that you can hear me. I've been a teacher and a student of spirituality for a while, and God is really uplifted and blessed my life for just the sole reason of making that personal decision to follow him, follow the path of truth and light through my daily experiences and duties. And I tell you, I have no regrets. Rather, I wake up every day wanting to deepen myself and even flow more from his divine will for my life every second. And I invite you, walk away from any distraction. Anybody that is hurting you and putting you down, enough already. There is no amount of complaint. There is no amount of tears. There is no amount of dwelling on what people do that will bring healing to your soul. Jesus is the truth. He's the way. Jesus is what you are looking for. The love, the affection, the beauty, the success, the abundance, every single thing you're looking for is in God. And I've come to have a glimpse and a taste of this true love of God. And I want you to gain that as well. Don't do this because of you alone. Do it for your children, if you're not married, even your unborn children. Do it for your generation unborn. Do it for people around you. The light of God is so beautiful that when you experience God, when you're always in the space of God and sharing, He touches your heart in His very special way. He uses you to work miracles. Sometimes my battle is fighting and doubting God. Are you really sending me to do this? Are you really saying I should do this? Why are you revealing all this to me? Why do you want me to touch this soul? Why do you want me to touch that soul? Because from our childhood, you don't believe that God can use a simple girl like me to touch your soul and heal you. And then there is that doubt that comes when God begins to use you because you are drawing closer and closer to Him. So it's a year of deepening. It's a year of listening. It's a year of connecting more and holding on to God for who He is, that He has always been, as He will not leave us. You've tried all the ways of the world. You've tried friends, they have not worked. You've tried marriage, it's not worked for you. You've tried everything, it's not worked for you. There is something you've not tried. And even if you've tried God, you've not tried it in the right way because of our sense of perception. And what is calling us this year to this, just to be present, silent, and connection. And when you do these three things, through working on your mind, your body, and your spirit, you get to a point that you become a true miracle worker. Miracle worker, not in the sense that we see it in Africa, or the way we make noise about it in Africa or in so many places. Is miracle worker in your daily life. Every single step you make becomes a miracle. Your breath becomes a miracle. Your life becomes a total beauty. Your life becomes a total beauty for the world. That's how God destined it. And if you're not flowing from this place, it's time. It's time. The time is now. And I'm waiting for you every day that we share the spirit-filled conversation about relationships, about our confusions, about our deepenings and our understanding. Being with God isn't being away from troubles and temptations. Being with God is going through stuffs as well. He did go through stuffs as well, but He, in the end, was glorified. So I pray for you, and I pray for me, and I ask God to help, to lead us, to strengthen us as we deepen ourselves in Him through Christ our Lord. Amen. Blessings.